Okay, welcome to the Lose Fat After 40 live stream. My apologies for the false start. I thought. Welcome to the Lose Fat After 40 live stream. Okay, I know the sound's working because I've got it on the other computer now. So, yeah, I thought I had everything set up, but there was one extra go live button in the YouTube studio that I had to click. So, welcome to the Lose Fat After 40 live stream. Forgive me for the technical issues because this is only my first live stream, although last week I did a recorded video as a live stream. So for those who join us today, feel free to ask any questions in the chat. And today, what I might do is quickly tell you my backstory, and then we'll go into the philosophy of losing weight after 40. And then if there's any Q&A, we'll go into some of those as well. And we may even do what I call a diet roast, okay, which is where we go through someone who's submitted their diet, and we'll work through and see how their potential weight loss is with that diet. So we'll go from there. So backstory, myself, I am 55, birthday coming up, so creeping up there. In my 20s, I was an athlete. All right, I was fit. I would run 10 kilometres at a time. I'd play football and cricket and any other sport that had a ball. Okay. I snapped my knee in when I was 21. Okay. And obviously that had to get reconstructed, and that slowed me down a little bit. So after my recovery, it was never quite as good as it was, but I did step back and play cricket and a few other sports that weren't as physically demanding. So during my 20s into my 30s, I was fairly fit. No six pack, but I started to generate a little belly as the years went by. And through my 30s up to 40, that continued. So I went from, my playing weight, which was probably back then 75 to 80 kilos, got up to 90, something like that. And after 40, I kind of blew out. I went up to 106 kilograms at the maximum, which is about 233 pounds or thereabouts. Which for me, as 6 foot tall, I'm just going to cover something up so I look at the camera more than anything else. What can I put there? Just bear with me, guys. It's a learning experience. You've got to understand. All right, that should do it. So, if you come on, just do it. Pop a comment in the chat. Let me know you're here and where you're from. So, where was I up to? I was 106 kilos, 233 pounds in my early 40s, and at 6 foot tall, or 170, about this much under 6 foot. I'm wearing down at the heels. I decided, nah, that's too heavy. That is too heavy, and I cannot be that weight or higher anymore. So I did go on a journey of different diets. I'd cut out the iced coffees and drink water instead, and that worked because at the time I was working, and in a physical way. So that allowed me to drop back a little bit. And that's through sheer exercise because it was hot and to work long hours and all that sort of stuff. But the roller coaster, you'd lose a few kilos, get down to the 90s somewhere there, and then you'd put it all back on, and then you'd come down and you put it all back on. And I tried many different diets, just cutting out different sugar, drinking more water, working out that, hey, hang on, sugar and carbs aren't good. So eventually I'll, coming 8 years into the journey, into my 50s almost, I worked out that keto and low carb and carnivore diets are the way to go. So, but I still didn't fully understand what the philosophy of losing. Okay. Are we back on? That's the question. It looks like we are. Well, happy live streaming when you can't get internet. Well, the power drops out halfway through. So, happy live streaming when you can't get internet. Well, the power drops out halfway through. Hang on, I'll just turn the phone off. My apologies. Let me regroup because that put me off a little bit. I lost my mojo. So, okay, let's look and see if we've still got the viewers that we're on. I doubt we do. Oh no, there's a couple of people still on. All right, unless that's me. I don't know. I'm on the phone and the computer, so we'll run along as if everything went smoothly, and we'll pick up here. And for the recording, we'll drop it off. So, welcome back to the Lose Fat After 40 live stream and Q&A. And I was partway through my story. I got up to yo-yo dieting, and really I got to a point where now let's just quickly do this. I got to a point where I got down to 98 kilograms after I'd learnt most of the knowledge I know today, and I hit a floor. No matter what I did, I could not get under 98 for any period of time. So, you'd go on a keto diet or a carnivore diet and, be strict. It just would not go below 98. And if it did, I'd do a long fast. I got down to 92 or 3, and then whammo, it'd go straight back to 98 kilograms and bounce between 98 and 100 kilograms. And it's scary that my body wanted to be that weight because that was too heavy for me. My knees, even though they, had old injuries, they would ache and pain, and the joints and so forth. So made it difficult for exercise. Anything other than cycling and swimming and the occasional walk, the knees would blow up. So it really got down to a point where I had to work out, right, why is this happening? And after doing what's called a 75 hard challenge, which was a challenge done by Andy Frisella, I think his name is, where you have to do 2 45-minute workouts a day, one of which has got to be outside, and they've got to be 3 hours apart. So I did cycling and swimming, as we've got the pool in the backyard here. And you had to read a book and drink 4 litres of water and take a photo and not cheat on your diet, which I did not do. I completed the 75 hard. I did the carnivore diet. I was strict. Did not cheat at all. And by rights, I should have been losing weight hand over fist. And it was really, really disheartening to get 2.5 months in of doing two workouts a day and eating strictly and blah blah blah, to not lose the weight that I was trying to lose. I'm trying to get from 98 to 100. I'm below that now, but down to sort of 85 kilograms to see where I'm at that point, whether I need to lose a little more or not. But after I'd completed that, I worked out what happened. having the carnivore diet, obviously it's any meat, you know, beef, lamb, goat, chicken, prawns, you know, anything like that, and eggs and butter. And I probably maybe overdid the butter just a little. But the thing that really got me, I think, was the bacon I was buying. I was buying ender bits, which is like a kilogram pack of bacon bits, which are cut off at the end. You know, from the, you know, they're not a full rasher, just chunks and bits and pieces. Now, don't get me wrong, bacon on a carnivore diet is good, okay, in moderation. This stuff, however, we worked out that it must have been marinated or injected with basically sugar. All right. And what it kept doing is every time I ate it, which was once, maybe a day, maybe every other day, or maybe some days I had bacon twice in a day. I might have bacon and eggs for breakfast and a little bit of bacon and meat for dinner. Every time I ate it, it was spiking my insulin and knocking me out of ketosis. All right. I didn't know that at the time, and that's why I could not lose weight. Okay. And that moves into the philosophy, I guess, of losing weight, where once you understand this, the ability to lose weight is entirely in your hands. The uncertainty of not knowing what to do will dissipate once you understand this one point. Losing weight is all to do with one hormone, basically. And if that hormone is elevated in your system, you cannot burn fat. Plain and simple. In fact, if that hormone is in your system at an elevated level, it will store any food that you don't use as fat. In other words, you're going the other way. Now that hormone is called insulin. Now, many of us have heard it before, but the impact on our bodies is, well, with the current diet that they force upon us, the standard American or Australian or standard Western diet, which basically consists of carbs and sugar and coffee and milk and everything all day long, every 2 hours, our insulin, every time we eat anything with carbs or sugar in it, our insulin spikes to help us utilize or force the sugar, the blood sugar, into our cells to either store it as fat or use it for energy. Okay, that's why insulin's there. It's there to convert sugar into your cell, or get sugar into your cells to be able to use it for energy or store it for later. It's like putting food in the pantry. You know, if you put food in the pantry, it's like stacking on the kilos. And, you know, for a rainy day when you haven't got any food, that's when it goes back and can actually use it. So, but with the Western world these days, because we have, you know, oats and sugar in the morning, insulin, like that. And of course, because your insulin's so high, once you get to work, you have a crash 2 or 3 hours later, and you go, oh man, I'm so exhausted. So you have a coffee with the milk and 2 sugars at about 10 o'clock. Of course, your insulin, back up she goes, higher than what it was before. And you're good till lunch. And then, you know, as your insulin's starting to come down, you have lunch, which might have been leftover carbonara, you know, pasta, carbs, insulin goes up again. And then, of course, mid-afternoon, you have another crash. So you might have, you know, a cupcake or a donut or something to keep you going. Sugar, seed oils, that's what's cooked in, vegetable oil. That stuff is horrendous for you, obviously. I've done blog posts and that on it, but yeah, you don't want to be on any vegetable, corn oil, seed oils like that, because it's basically refined engine oil. And you don't want to be eating that because it inflames your joints, and it's got a half-life, I've heard, of over a year. So whenever you have French fries or a donut cooked in vegetable oil, any vegetable oil in there stays in your system for 1 to 2 years before it's eventually gets itself out. But then if you're continually eating it, you're topping it up, and that's horrid stuff. So sidetracked there. Insulin. We get to the end of the day, and then you'll have your evening meal. Of course, insulin goes up again. Okay. And then generally after dinner, people have a tea or something, or milk, or, milk before they go to bed, or a snack at 10 o'clock before they go to sleep. So bad for you, because right before you go to sleep, you spike your insulin again. And you're going to, once you go to sleep, insulin starts coming down. And in theory, by the time you get back to morning time, your insulin should be somewhere back where it started the previous day. And many times it's not, because people don't understand what this stuff does to you. So how do you overcome that? Now, one, diet. What you eat. If you can cut out your sugars and carbs and soft drinks and anything that spikes insulin severely, that will be a big help. Okay. But also, even when you eat protein and fat, which doesn't have that dramatic insulin spike. I mean, protein will spike your insulin, but only a little bit, like this, right? And fat barely does it. So if you have a ribeye steak, it's got protein and fat in it, no carbs. So, your insulin response will be like this, and then it'll sort of wave down instead of like this if you have a cup of coffee with milk and sugar in it. Okay. So once you understand what you eat will help you immensely, then you've got to look then at when you eat. Okay, what and when you eat is so important, because what and when you eat affects how much insulin is in your system, and effectively whether you're burning fat or storing it. Okay, so if you've heard of fasting at all, it's just a period of time that you don't eat or put anything in your mouth that will spike insulin. I mean, you can drink water, you can drink black coffee, water with a couple of drops or a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar doesn't spike your insulin. So in effect, your body thinks you haven't eaten. So if you can do that, say you have dinner at night at 6 o'clock, and instead of having your 10 o'clock snack, have a glass of water, or have a glass of water with a tiny bit of apple cider vinegar in it to give you a bit of flavour. Okay. After you finish eating, 4 to 5 hours later, you kind of finish digesting your food. So if you eat at 6, at 10 o'clock, you finally finish digesting your food. Your insulin is coming down. Okay. So if you go to bed like that, then you've got 8 hours of insulin coming down and moving from burning sugar into burning fat. So come the morning, so you're about 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you haven't eaten for 12 to 14 hours. All right. By then, your insulin should be coming right back. Okay. You've digested your food, and you're starting to burn fat for energy rather than sugar. All right. And the longer you can burn fat before you eat, because as soon as you eat, no matter what you eat, whether it's protein or fat, you're going to get some kind of insulin response, which will stop you from burning fat for a moment at least, depending on what you eat. But the longer you go, right? So I haven't eaten yet. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here, or 9:30 now. But I had my last meal. I stopped eating at 5:30 last night. Okay. So it's been a minute. It's it's about 16 hours. Okay. So I'll be burning fat right now. So I'll go up until after lunch sometime, and then I'll have my first meal for the day, and then I'll have dinner at, say, 4 or 5 o'clock. and then nothing from there again. And the beautiful point of that is because you are not consuming sugars and carbs, you're not getting those insulin spikes. You're not getting those sugar rushes that you get every day. And because of that, you don't get hangry, which is hungry and angry combined. You don't get hangry. I really couldn't be fussed eating right now. I'm not hungry at all because my body is sustaining itself from my stores in the pantry, which is what we all want to lose fat and lose weight, don't we? So that's the philosophy. If you can understand that insulin is the key to everything, then you can mold your diet and the timing of when you eat, and then you can move into exercise, when to exercise, how to exercise, all that kind of stuff. But even if you start at understanding insulin, then you can add little bits and pieces along the way. So you can go for a walk after a meal. You can do your strength workout in the morning. You can do things like that will always help. But the key to this is diet, when you eat, what you eat, and the insulin response you get from it. Okay. So the key to this is also with losing weight. I've found that if you're doing it by yourself, it's too easy to cheat. Who's ever done this? I'm going to tell a story. You think you're trying to do the right thing and you have a little cheat. You might have a spoonful of peanut butter or something just because you want something that tastes yum. Now, peanut butter, unless you've got the natural homemade stuff, is packed with sugar. So what you've done is you've knocked yourself out of ketosis, you've spiked your insulin, and you've stuffed up what you've been doing for the last 2 to 3 days, and it's going to take another couple of days to get back into ketosis. So that one spoonful of peanut butter is something like that. And you go, right, oh, fuck. Well, I did that, stupid. But now that I've done it, I might as well have a chocolate donut while I'm at it because I'm really craving one. And then I'm dying for a schnitzel. So you have a schnitzel and it's got wrapped in breadcrumbs and flour and that. Eggs. It's carbs. All right, meat inside, but carbs. Then you got gravy on top with flour in it. Okay. And of course, it's cooked in vegetable oil. Good one, Andrew. And then you have it with fries. Okay. You thought, all right, I'll start again tomorrow. All right. And then tomorrow you go, oh, man, it's all right. I'm not back in ketosis yet. I can just have another little cheat today and I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. And it continues on. And 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks goes by, and you've put 2 or 3 kilos back on that you could have lost. Okay. And it goes into procrastination as well, putting off starting. And the key to this is accountability in my eyes. If you are accountable or you're doing it with someone and you will stick to your diet, you won't have that tablespoonful of peanut butter just because it's in the fridge. 1, get rid of it out of your fridge. But 2, if you have a running mate, place a bet with them. Whoever loses the most weight wins, and the loser has to do something that you really don't want to do. That and the fact that you can say with a straight face that, no, I didn't cheat today, looking away, because you had something wrong. Community and or running mate is the key. And that's why we've set up the 51-day challenge, which is a challenge where you basically, for 51 days, you run, not run physically, but you stick to a diet and or improve your diet every day. You start to incorporate fasting. All right. And you commit to helping yourself for 51 days without cheating. Right. And it might be as simple as, going low carb having a walk after your meal, and not having an evening snack is a good start. All right, and then you can move, because your body takes a while to adapt. As you get used to not having your midnight snack, then you can maybe push breakfast from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Right, and eventually just get used to the rhythms of better choices in your life, so that you will start to drop kilos. So that's why we set up the 51-day challenge community, so we can all do this together and support each other, and help answer any questions. Because as you're learning this, you'll have uncertainties. You'll have things: can I have cheese? Can I have milk? Can I have almond milk? Can I do this? Is there, and this, because you're in a community that will answer questions, they will get answered for you. So you don't have to worry about having uncertainty. And the key with uncertainty is that if you're uncertain, you stop doing something. All right. The key for our community is to answer those questions quickly, so that you can go, oh, okay, all right, I'm with it. I'm there. I'm going to keep going now. So, lost track of where I was. Got to bear with me. It's live. In fact, I'm not sure how many viewers are on at the moment because of our electricity hiccup before. But that's the key. Now, the other one is a bit of a secret weapon. We've found an extract that basically, when you drink it, it's a liquid. It's you put 1 ml of this, 1.2 mils of a liquid in your drink, in your water in the morning. It causes a thermogenic reaction in your stomach, which is kind of like jumping in an ice bath, but you can't feel it, even though it's happening. So this basically immediately starts burning visceral fat around your organs, which is the nasty stuff you don't want to have. So if you want to know what that is and how to get your hands on it as well, simply down below, 51-day challenge, just register for that for free. Okay. Name and email, and you'll be redirected to a page where it basically lists off where to get that and what it is and how it works, which is great. And the other one is terahertz technology. Once you get in there, you'll find, if you've got other aches and pains, knee pain, elbow pain, joint pain, and a way to increase your circulation to potentially lose weight faster, there is a terahertz frequency machine in there that can help you do that as well. So there's also information on that. So today, because we're running long already, because of the power outage, my apologies. It doesn't help when you're doing a live stream and the power drops out for 20 minutes. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll cut this one short this week. Obviously, keep an eye out for next week, because all things going well, we'll have something special for you, and we'll run through, and any questions we'll answer live, and we'll go from there. So for now, be awesome, stay on track, and we'll see you inside the 51-day challenge, and be awesome. Catch you later. Now, I've got to find out where to do this.